Hi, and welcome to Repairing Mrs. Phillips Crocheted Granny Blanket Part 2. So if you missed Part 1, there were a couple small repairs that I did, and I was leaving this huge shark bite gouged spot for next. So it's these big 12-inch or so motifs, and then there's this border, and the final round of the motif is missing, and then the border that goes on top. So I've got one more round of the blue to try and repair, the light blue, the baby blue, and then to try and figure out how to reattach this medium blue. So I'm pretty sure this is Karen's Simply Soft. I recognized the yarn, and so I went to the craft store and bought like some more. So it doesn't match because this blanket is like 15, at least I'm thinking 15 years old, but anyway, I'll do the best I can. So I think I might be able to, I don't know. I don't know if I want to use the original yarn that I have here or just cut my losses and say it's too fragile. Let's use something more sturdy if I can. So here comes Muffin. So I'm going to put away the dark blue because I'm not going to need that. And I'm going to put away the yellow. That was my lifeline in my last video. Because I won't need that, and that way she won't take it. There's less yarn for her to steal. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is move Muffin out of the way. Okay, Muffin? Down you go, sweetheart. Okay, so then I'm trying to decide if I'm going to, I guess I need to add the lifeline in. Okay, I used a G-size hook in the last video, and I think that was good. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and try and use this reclaimed leftover yarn here. Let's just see what I can do. So I've got 3 double crochets here, and I need to kind of get this loop through those 3 stitches. Actually, it looks like there's only, oh, those are the joins. Okay, let's see. Those are the joins. Looks like she chained, how many chains did she put in between each here? 3 maybe? 3 chains in between each double crochet group here, maybe? Or they're just 1 and they're really stretched out. I'm not sure which. Okay, let's see what I can figure out. I think I'm going to thread a hook through the bottom of these stitches and grab that loop and try and pull it through underneath those stitches so that I can continue working. Okay, so let's see, it looks like there might be a couple chains there. So I'm going to go ahead and chain a couple because it looks like that's what the pattern was. Okay, and then lay it out and keep working. So I have, I guess it's time to, let's see, she did join. You know what? I think I was only supposed to go through 1 loop. Let's do that. I think that's what it is. I think that's joining with a slip stitch in between each. Let's see. Joining with, double crochet 3 groups. Oh, this round joined. That's the problem. Okay, so this was the join. This here was the join from the previous row. Okay, and so I need to figure out how to get past that. Decisions. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to place another 3 double crochet group in the next chain space. So I'm pulling up some of that yarn through the original yarn so that I have more yarn to work with. And let's see what I can do. Let's just pretend that I'm actually making the square for the very first time. And instead of this yarn joining here, because that's already still intact, I'm going to go ahead and join this way. I'm going to make this round join. The most important thing is that I keep as much of the blanket intact as possible, and I don't want to make the repair way more difficult than it needs to be. So if one round did the joining, but that's not the round that's broken, then I am just going to flip and make this row on this motif be the join. So you can maybe see it a little bit that I have just flipped the narrative. So instead of this row here on the previous motif joining to over here, I've now started taking this one and joining over there, if that makes any sense at all. But I think that that makes some sense, and unless you really look, I don't know that people are going to see much difference here in a way that is too confusing, and the owner of the blanket, I think, will be okay with that because it looks pretty seamless, even though if you really studied it, you could figure it out. But I don't anticipate anyone seriously studying it. Okay, Muffin. Muffin's back up on the table. Hi, Muff Muff. Okay, so I'm at the corner now, and it's going to get a little more complicated, so I need to join to here. I know that. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and join to the motif corner over there. And I'm guessing that there was 3 chains there. 1, 2 more. That makes 5. And then come over here. I'm also trying to realize that the yarn from the original blanket is pretty stretched. So even if there were 3 chains, it kind of has stretched to the length of 5. So Muffin is here supervising. Hi, Muff Muff. I know the family that this belongs to does have cats, so I will... hopefully this will not upset them to have it back in their home, and I can always wash it one more time before I give it back, if it's intact and not going to get more damaged by washing it. But I did pre-wash it once before I started working on it. Okay, so she's going to be attracted, Muff Muff, to that ball of tangly yarn here. Okay, so let's see. I think that's good enough for the side. It's not perfect, but it might be okay. And now I need to finish the blue here while simultaneously getting stitches placed underneath the darker blue here. So I think what needs to happen is I need to drop this loop, thread my hook through here, through the dark blue loops, place the working hook loop back on the hook, pull that working loop through underneath the feet of those double crochets. Okay, very delicately. And then try to keep working. So I will chain 1 and give myself, no, Muff Muff. No, Muff Muff. Try to give myself some, oh, we have a tangle mess. Mayday, mayday. So I did put this through the laundry, and so maybe that's partly why this is so tangly, and I don't know where this thread is coming from. But also I did tack it down with locking stitch markers the best I could to make sure it didn't unravel too much. I think this just fabric thread here is a byproduct of the dryer and not an element of the actual blanket. So maybe I can cut out this like fabric-y looking thread, like this sewing thread. That's the word I'm looking for, because I think that is what has caught up this yarn and made it extra tangly. Maybe I can salvage this original yarn and not have to splice in the new baby blue yarn too much, and then hopefully it will be a little more seamless and less obvious of a repair. No, Muff Muff. You just gonna lay here and be nice? That works. Okay, I guess I will pause the camera while I try to get this knot undone. Okay, I've got all that detangled. Didn't take too long, but enough time that I didn't want you guys to have to wait for me. And it's time now to do another group of double crochet. So I'm going to give myself some slack, pulling through the original yarn that is now sort of acting like a lifeline, and placing 3 double crochets in the next chain space. And I will chain 1 and remove my hook, and then lay it flat here and make sure I see where I'm going. Pull the slack through a little bit so that I can see where it's lining up. And I will thread my hook through the feet of these blue stitches, grab the working loop, and try to gently pull that working loop through those stitches so that I can keep working with it. Okay, so there. Okay, and the chain 1 is already there. I did that before I pulled it through. So now it's time to give myself some more slack. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this stitch marker that I placed there while I was washing the blanket, trying to hold it in place so that it wouldn't get more damaged while I was washing the blanket before I began. Set that aside. Okay, so now it's time to place some double crochets here in the next stitch. So we're making sure to alternate groups. So I hope that you are finding crochet to be a relaxing and valuable use of your time. And if you missed the repair of the first couple of holes, go back and watch that video. It's quite riveting, if I do say so myself, as I try to figure out exactly how that goes. So I'm just going to keep repeating this process here. So there's many decisions to be made when repairing a blanket, and it's just like, is it even worth it? Is the stitch pattern comprehensible enough by just looking at it to figure out what the pattern and rhythm is to see if you can even try to repair it? Do you want to try to repair it with the original yarn? Can you harvest the yarn from somewhere else, or do you have some yarn somewhere? Or is, luckily, like this, where I was able to buy more yarn, but even though this blanket is probably 15 or 16 years old, Karen Yarn still makes this yarn. I don't know if it's the exact same color, but certainly this blanket has been loved and washed for many years, so it has a little bit of a different texture, but we are going to go ahead, and I couldn't find the medium blue, the second, so light, darker, darker even more, and darkest. I couldn't find the darker, so I just have to keep on trying to do the best we can. You'll see in the previous video that I did fudge the colors a little bit, just trying to make the best out of what I could find at the store. So I'm going to remove this stitch marker to give me more space, because you just got to do the best you can. And Mrs. Phillips made this beautiful blanket for her grandson, and he's loved it all these years. And I know with Mrs. Phillips now gone, that she would like him to still have it, and he very much would like to still have it. So I'm trying to do the best I can to help repair it so it can last a little bit longer. I don't often do repairs for people. How about you guys? Do you often repair crochet? So I'm not great at it by any means, but I've done it a few times. And, we'll just keep trying, right? It's not an exact science. Like every rip and tear is different, and depending on the pattern and the yarn, if it's even worth repairing. This is acrylic yarn, so it's probably going to last forever in some manner. But at some point, it might be time to whittle it down to just one square and frame it instead of trying to to repair it. So I think maybe something didn't work quite right here. So it wasn't flowing, so go back and do it again. Gotta follow the thread, follow the yellow brick road. I'm following the thread of the original yarn through. Let's see if I can do that again. I can't tell you though, since I became a professional crocheter, how often people ask me to repair their loved ones' things, and I just have not really had the time. And there we go, that's better. And it's hard to just to honor the work and make sure that it looks the best it can look. And it is what it is. It could be a whole business. I think if people had the money to get it repaired, then, I think the work is there. So, hey, if you're good at repairing crochet, please let me know, because it seems like there's always somebody who needs a repair. And, I don't know if people are, if people in your life know that you crochet, I think it's common that people start asking, how can you repair my great grandma's whatever, or my great aunt left me this beautiful doily, or whatever. But it's not always as easy as a granny square, which I'm grateful that this one is. I probably would not have taken the project if it was a more complicated pattern, but luckily, because I know the granny square pattern, like literally backwards and forwards, that it's not too bad. Okay, good. So this is coming along. You can see I'm threading in the new row. You can kind of see which ones are mine. They're a little bit shorter and a little bit tighter. So I need to like loosen up my gauge a little bit, but I'm just trying to get it done. So give myself a little bit of slack. This was quite a gash, and it looks like I'm going to have some trouble when I get over here. So in the meantime, I'm just going to keep on working this part, piece by piece. Anyway, yeah, at some point it might be worth just framing it and not damaging it more, and being able to cherish it. Make sure you got lots of photos of these cherished items. That's the thing about crochet. I mean, one of the things I love about it so much is how functional it is. On the other hand, it's made to be used, and when it's used and loved and abused, it doesn't last forever, although we're making some progress here at least. Okay, making some progress here. Okay, grab that. So, bring you in a little closer here so that you can see what I'm doing. So this is a whole nother repeat. I'll bring the camera closer for this. Okay, so I'm giving myself some slack by pulling up some of the original yarn. I'm double crocheting the group of 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space, just like we do with most granny squares. And then I'm chaining 1, because we usually do that between groups. And then I'm pulling the slack back, because I want to pull this chain underneath this group of 3 double crochets. So this is where I'm threading my hook, kind of where that yarn is supposed to be, and trying to put that loop back on my hook and gently pull it through those 3 stitches. There we go. Okay, and then put the hook back on that chain. Make sure that the chain is not stuck. Yep, it looks good. And okay, so now we're at the place where I got to make some decisions. So I only have this much yarn left of the available yarn. This blue row round is disintegrated up here, so I can only do so much here. And then this row, this piece here is disintegrated. So, but I'm going to be doing the double crochets here, so maybe I can pull this apart. Let's give that a look, because it looks like that's where my harvested yarn is working anyway, is coming from. So let's see how much it's tied into knots here, if I can get it out. And there's some splitting, and probably this is where the yarn broke. So here's the scene of the crime. So if we're doing forensic crochet, here is where this is where it all went wrong. This is where it all unraveled. This is where we hit a speed bump. Okay, so there seems to be a pretty tight little knot. Oh, nope, never mind. Not a knot. It came right open. Okay, so this is what happened here. So we've got, there it is. That's where the yarn broke. Okay, so we don't want to use that, but it looks like if I can get a couple more groups of double crochet in here, maybe I will not even need to splice in new yarn in this light blue section. I don't know, it's going to be close. It depends on how much of a tail she left when she stitched this blanket to begin with. I noticed that some of her other joins, the yarn was super short, like an inch. Like she tied a knot and then cut the yarn, and so there was like no extra yarn to work with. So let's see if she left me any tail, or maybe if my gauge is a little bit smaller than Mrs. Phillips' gauge, I'll be able to still get it done because my stitches are smaller than hers, so maybe I'll still have enough yarn to make it work. I don't know. We shall see. It's the ultimate game of yarn chicken because I have this much yarn to work with and a frayed tail there. But is that it? I guess that's it. I don't really need to put another group of 3 because it's right here and we're at the corner. So I must have really crocheted way more tightly than she did. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch in that first beginning chain 3 that started the round and pull. Okay, my stitches just must be really small. I don't think I missed a chain 3 or a double crochet 3 group. So I guess they just are much tighter than hers. Okay. So that is there, and we'll now luckily just weave that in. But I'm still stuck with this here. I don't know what happened here. Let me see if I can investigate how she, I don't know where, looks like there's missing a group of 3 double crochets in this medium blue somewhere, but I'm not sure where they belong. I'm not sure where they belong, so I think I'll just add in, I guess I can just add in 3 double crochets in there somewhere so that it looks like it fits. Okay, let's go back here. Let's see if we can find out where the hole is here. Either that or the yarn just got super stretched. Looks like there's some stitches that used to be here that are not here anymore. So we're doing an archaeological dig on this crochet blanket, trying to unearth. Look at these chains. Look, it's just a bunch of chains. How bizarre is that? Okay, I'm sure she stitched it absolutely correctly. I'm sure she did not make a mistake. I'm not meaning to imply that at all. I'm just saying that, over time, and these chains have gotten just so huge. They must have just gotten pulled and stretched so out of shape that I'm not sure where to go with it. It almost makes me think I could cut it and just tie it, but there still should be a group of 3 double crochets in between these 2 groups. So, but I just don't know where it's supposed to go. If it's supposed to go right here? I don't think I missed one up on this row. Maybe I did. I don't think I did. Looks like I got them all. Oh, there is one missing. There's one missing over here. I think there was supposed to be one in here. I think there was supposed to be one in here. I think that's what happened. Okay, what do? Do I unravel all the blue and just do exactly what I did with the white, the light colored, but there's no cut end, so I'd have to cut it where I don't want to cut it. Decisions. How do I unravel it without cutting and undo the blue so that I can go way back here and add a group of 3 double crochet? Or do I just leave it and don't add it there and just try to fix something here? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what I should do. I wonder what would happen if... I feel like a cut has to be made, otherwise I don't know how to make the stitches like I don't know that I could just like start here and somehow twist the stitches into place. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Do you like my little stream of consciousness here? Okay, let me think. I just don't know. I think I'm going to have to cut something because I don't really know what else to do. So if you are like shouting at the camera because you do know what to do and you're like, no, don't cut it, I know exactly how to do it. I'm sorry, this is going to be painful for you. Okay, let's just cut it and see what happens. So we will just keep trying the best we can to make it better than it was when I got it. Okay, so unravel some of this stuff. Okay, and how far back do I need to go? And do I need to patch with new yarn? Or, let's see. I guess I need to patch with new, well, I don't know. I made it work before, didn't I? So I might as well just try. Okay, so if I chain one, if I just make my stitches small again like I did before, and her stitches are bigger than mine, I might be able just to fix it without patching it with new yarn. If I do the same thing that I did, right? Okay. Pull that through. It's all getting stuck because this yarn is splitty. Pull that loop through. Please come through. Let's see, did it come through? Where's my... I think that's it. I think that's my working loop. It's just split all out of shape. Okay, so there's the yarn that needs to be tied into. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a group of 3 double crochet here. And I'm going to crochet pretty darn tightly because I want to, I don't know if it's going to work. It's still awfully short. I don't know. Oh, dang. Well, I could just try to squeeze more yarn out of this side. If I somehow, okay, I guess I'll do half the stitch with this side, pull up a loop, and then try to yarn over with the other side, pull through, yarn over and pull through, and then tie those two. Don't pull too long because you'll rip it apart. And then, but it needs to connect. So I do need to pull that through so this stitch ends. But then I think I might need to, I think I might just tie these together. Well, do you remember how it looked in the beginning? Do you remember how it looked with this big shark bite gash that was a dozen or more inches long? I don't like to tie knots. You know I don't like to tie knots, but I don't feel like I have a choice. And then I'm going to weave in the ends. Do you remember how it looked before with the shark bite gash? Look at that now. Not too bad. Hey, give this a thumbs up if you thought I did a decent enough job. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Bye. Hi, I'm Ellen Gormley, and thank you so much for spending time with me on my channel. I hope you've had a relaxing and valuable use of your time. So if you liked this video, here's another one that's similar that you might also enjoy. And here is the video, the last video that was uploaded in case you missed it. Everyone, please like and subscribe for more videos. They're usually posted on Wednesday or Thursday at the worst. Thank you. Bye. Say goodbye, Muffin.